Good day, everyone. I am Shine Grace Daylucen and I will be your reporter for today. So, my topic for today is all about role of hydrology in water resources, planning, and management. So, first, what is hydrology? Hydrology is the scientific study of movement, distribution, and management of water on Earth and other planets, including the water cycle, water resources, and environmental watershed sustainability. So, as we mentioned earlier, the three examples of water hydrology are: first is the water cycle. It is a continuous movement of water on, above, and below the surface of the earth. So, water cycle is very important because without it, we don't have water resources. So, second is water resources. It is usually fresh water that are useful or potentially useful to society. For instance, agricultural, industrial, or recreational use. Next is the environmental watershed sustainability. At Watershed, we are committed to minimizing the impact of our activities on the environment and ensuring that environmental sustainability is strategic priority. So we as human, we are responsible to always make sure that our watershed is always clean and green. So the objectives of these topics are the following. First is to define problems on watershed and mitigation in the Philippines. Second, to cite current problems in watershed management and watershed protection in our country. Fourth, to define the role of hydrology in water resources, planning, and management in the Philippines. Fourth, to cite and identify the agencies involved in the collection of hydrologic data in the Philippines. So let's begin. So over the past decade, and increasingly there have been many studies into climate change effects on hydrology and water resources, and some undertaken on behalf of water management and agencies. There are still many gaps and unknowns. However, the goal of this chapter assess current understanding of the impact of climate change on water resources and implication of adaptation. So, estimating the impacts of climate change. So, the impact of climate change on hydrology usually are estimated by defining scenarios for changes in climatic inputs to a hydrological model from the output of general circulation models. The three key developments here are constructing scenarios that are suitable for hydrological impact assessments, developing and using realistic hydrological models, and understanding better the linkages and feedbacks between climate and hydrological system. Impacts on water resources and hazard. So, the preceding section have assessed the potential effect of climate change on river flows, groundwater recharge, and other biophysical components of the water resource base and demands for the resource. The consequence of or impacts of such changes on risk or resource reliability depend not only on the biophysical changes in stream flow, recharge, sea level rise, and water quality, but also on characteristics of the water management system. Societal characteristics that maximize susceptibility to climate change include: first, poverty and low income levels. which prevent long-term planning and provisioning at household level. Second, lack of water control infrastructures. Third, lack of maintenance and deterioration of existing infrastructure. Fourth, lack of human capital skills for system and management. Fifth, lack of appropriate empowered institution. Sixth, absence of appropriate land use planning. 7. High population densities and other factors that inhibit population mobility. 8. Increasing demand for water because of rapid population growth. 9. Conservative attitudes toward risk or unwillingness to live with some risk as a trade-off against more goods and services. And that's risk aversion. And lastly is lack of formal links among the various parties involved in water management. So let's go to the next topic, which is the agencies involved in the collection of hydrologic data. So water is one of our most important natural resources. So without it, there would be no life here on Earth. So supply may be available, but it is not always in the right place, at the right time, and of the right quality. So that's why hydrological data is very important. So collection of hydrologic data. So the goal of data collection in hydrology, be it in precipitation measurements, water level recordings, discharge gaugings, groundwater monitoring, and water quality sampling, is to provide a set of sufficient good quality data that can be used in decision making in all aspects of water resources management, in the whole range of operational application as well in research. So here are the agencies involved in collection of hydrologic data. First is the PAG-ASA. We all familiar of PAG-ASA, which is the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration. So they are responsible of collecting of hydrologic data, and this data will be used for weather and flood forecasting and various research projects of the agency. Second agencies involved in the collection of hydrologic data is the NIA, which is the National Irrigation Administration. They are responsible in gathering and reporting water discharge data. Third is the NPC, meaning National Power Corporation, primarily responsible for the collection of stream flow data. Next is NAMRIA, NAMRIA, meaning National Mapping and Resource Information Authority. So they are responsible for providing the public with map making services and acting as the central mapping agency, depository and distribution facility of natural resources data in the form of maps, charts, text, and statistics. Next is the NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So this agency received the funds for the data collection. Telemetry equipment shall be responsible for its acquisition, installation, operation, and maintenance. Next is the NWRB. It is the National Water Resources Board. They are responsible of ensuring the optimum exploitation, utilization, development, conservation, and providing methods and standard for data collection, project investigation, formulation, planning design, and feasibility evaluation, and rules and regulation for the exploitation and optimum utilization of water resources. And that's end with my report. Thank you.